Hey, it's Terry from Your Coach. Welcome back to day 17 of our 20 days in 2020 of turning obstacles into opportunities. In these last 5 days together, we're going to actually talk about decisions that you all are facing, that I'm facing, that we're all facing. Today, I want to address school. And while I'm looking at that quote, do not wait for leaders, do it alone, person to person, by Mother Teresa. Don't you find it interesting that she said do it alone, person to person? So to me, that means you have to stand up in your own self and relate to people one by one that way. In other words, it requires thinking. It requires being present. It requires not being, having that shrill voice of urgency, like the world's gonna you're gonna ruin your kid's life if you don't pick the right school and it's all gonna be terrible. What I'd like to ask you to do is take a look at your list from yesterday, your dreams, and begin to be open to this right here being a time when perhaps you allow those dreams to manifest, or at least you lay a foundation for that. Things are happening really fast paced today. And I think for us, it can happen that way as well. That list that you have from yesterday, just be open to allowing that to happen. Things pop up and you go, oh, that may be able to lead me from A to B to C. Or those dreams that you think you don't really need to have any longer. So it's about you and it's about your kid. And I just want to encourage you. There was a 2012 study in the Journal of Happiness saying that social connectedness as an adolescent, that is the bonds and relationships that your teen has now, is far more important to adult well-being than academic achievement. And I know many people right now are stressing about their kids losing a year of school or what's going to happen. It's all legit, these concerns. And when I say social bonds, you probably heard friends, social connectedness, friends. What's going to happen if my kid's not out there with friends? Because friends are important. But much of the social connectedness today is maintained by way of technology. In other words, your adolescent needs to know that they belong to some group. And groups are really easy to find these days. People can find their groups on Facebook or locally or out in the world. Your family is a society in and of itself. You can see your teen's progress by seeing how they relate to the people around them, no matter who they are. So if you could hopefully let go of the stress that if your teenager is not in the middle of their soccer game or their baseball game or their band or whatever, that they're not connected socially. There are plenty ways to be connected socially and to keep your kid safe and your mind safe from stress, because looking at things and understanding them is way different than stressing about them. Okay. And all schools don't work like we're used to them working. I remember when I was doing my student teaching a million years ago, there was a woman in the classroom next to me from Scotland, and I was doing my student teaching in a school that had, it was a high school, what we would call a regular high school, 6 classes a day, 6 hours a day, a little 5-minute break in between for everybody to get where they're going. And the woman from Scotland, who was there on a Fulbright scholarship and had been a teacher for years, she said, I don't get it. I don't get how this happens, how you guys maintain this level of frenetic activity and get anything done. I don't understand that. And I was taken aback because my whole life that was my model of school. From when I was in school and my kids were in school and I was teaching school, that was the model. And I said, oh, you don't do it like this? She said, no, it's not nearly this hectic and fast paced. And so today I would like for you to, in light of your dreams and your own life, take a step back and think about school and think about the purpose of school. And it's not necessarily so your kids can have a social life. That's a really nice outcome. But they can have social and connectedness in a lot of other ways, especially now by way of technology. And it's not about cramming information. You know, not everybody does it like we do it. And it wasn't until I began to work in alternative schools where, in my mind, the curriculum was set to the kid, not the other way around. It was like school wasn't made, the kid wasn't made for school. School was there to help this kid complete their graduation. That's what they said they want to do. I want to graduate. So that's why the school was there, and we sort of tailored that to them, and we did it through a plethora of ways: community service, online, face-to-face with teacher by appointment. There are a lot of ways that kids can be educated and meet their graduation requirements. And so today I want to ask you to begin to rethink. You know, there's this enormous pressure to conform, you know, to the concept of the way things always have been. And in so conforming to that, sometimes we lose touch with our full potential as a person and as a parent. And we forget that, wait a minute, this is my kid and this is our lives. And so as these changes around us proceed in rapid progression from one minute to the next, you want to be able to trust your own ability to sense what's happening, to sense really what's happening and how you can best respond. The ultimate authority for your life resides in your awareness of yourself, in your ability to reclaim your true identity and take ownership of the calling that's in your life of being a parent or a grandparent or a teacher. You know, the time's come to create some different scenarios here. I quickly learned that the mainstream school, I mean, really doesn't work for a majority of students and or teachers. It's a lot on teachers. So if you're a teacher listening to this, I would encourage you to go in and do what you know to do inside yourself and say, here's what I'll do for work and here's what I won't do right now, and find your fit. There is a lot of availability online. So what I'm saying is everything's being shaken up, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So what I'd ask you to do today is to list the reasons why you feel you can't consider a different schooling option. Just write them down. You don't have to defend them. Just write down, this is why I can't consider anything but the way it's always been. And then your opportunity here is for each of those reasons, list what would have to change in order for those to work. In other words, if you say, I can't do it because I have to go to work all day, or I can't do it because I don't have anybody to stay home with my kids, whatever the reason that you listed, just for each of those reasons, take the opportunity, the space, the time, with, you know, block out all the stuff coming at you, the shrieking of your neighbors, if you will. And for each of those reasons, list what would have to change in order for these things that I see as obstacles to work. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to change it, just asking you to expand your mind, expand your thinking here on day 17. Be sure you do that today, because tomorrow we're going to move on to another huge subject. And thanks. I love you all. Thanks so much for being here. See you right back here tomorrow. Take good care for now.